Alright, what's going on YouTube? What's happening? Uh, Last night I was down here working, trying to get the rest of my suspension off on the Caprice. Yeah, pretty much gonna show y'all and tell y'all what tools y'all need to pretty much replace all of this and what I did. So, what I would recommend, what I would start with is take your caliper off. To take your caliper off, you're gonna need a 3/8 hex head and a 10 mil for the 11 millimeter socket for take the brake hose off. Yeah, and then you'll be ready to. It depends on really what all you're. It depends on really what all you're changing and what you're working on, because it's fairly simple. If you just replacing the tie rod ends, you're just replacing the tie rod, inner and outer tie rod, then you just pull the cotter pin out, just bend them both together, pull them out, very simple, then figure out which. I don't know what size that is, because I'm replacing all the suspension, so I'm pulling it all off as one, so I can take off at least the amount of stuff as I need to. But you just pull the cotter pin out on both sides. This one right there, that's the inner. One right there for the outer. Pull them out. I would probably get a pivot fork, because on mine, you see, I couldn't get it to disconnect from the steering link, because I needed one of them pivot forks. I tried prying it with like a flathead or whatever. That didn't work. So I needed a pivot fork to put it in between and then whack it. I'm pretty sure it will fall down. I'll show y'all what I'm talking about too. One of these. I need one of these before this size. I tried it on there and it's too big, so it didn't really do nothing. But I'm gonna tell y'all this now. When you're working on, depending on what you're changing, if you ain't never touched your suspension before on your Caprice or any old car for the most part, things are going to break. You see right there, that's the sway bar linkage. Sway bar link. It just broke off, so I had to leave that in there, but on the other side it came off. I would recommend most definitely spraying all of this down before you start working on it, like with PB Blast or WD-40 something. Mine was all caked up with dirt, as you can see on the ground right here. So it was very hard to get to some of the stuff. But back to what I'm talking about. The bottom bolts for the lower control arm are both sizes of 7/8. You'll need a socket and a wrench. Well, it depends on, because when I lowered that side down, I didn't need one, because the bolt wasn't spinning at all, because it was really locked in there. So the nut just came straight off, and then I just whacked it with a hammer on the thread side. I just whacked it with a hammer, and it came out. But yeah, the bottom bolts for the control arms are 7/8. The upper control arm bolt, upper control arm nut is gonna have a cotter pin through there as well. You just bend it up. That's the only thing really that you really gonna be fighting on these cars. Well, on this old suspension is the cotter pins, because on both sides, as you can see, I pretty much could not get to it at all. It doesn't want to pull out, so I just left them in there. You see on that side, I just left the spindle attached to the lower control arm. But if you are changing either or ball joints or whatever, you don't really have to take too much. You'll have to take the spindle off to do that. You'll just be fighting. If you got like an impact or whatever, you get the upper control arm off. And if you got an impact, just bend the cotter pin all the way up and then smack it with an impact. or you know, shoot it with the impact gun, and it just break that cotter pan off, and it'll come straight out. And you can take the spindle off. Whack right here at the on the back right here with a hammer, and it'll pop it loose. You're gonna have to whack it up quite a few times. But yeah, when you taking it off from the top, you're gonna need to go get one of these pivot forks. Just pretty much, let me move this. You'll put it in between like so, and then get you a hammer and then smack it until it frees up. I would put a jack underneath, let it have some pressure, apply some pressure to it, jack it up, and then take the shock out. Use the bolts for the shock that's in there. See what size it is. It's the shock bolts. They go underneath there. They're a 13 millimeter. Yep. Instead of getting that hold up, somebody. All right, this is later on in the day. See where I left off at. I was telling y'all about the spring, I believe. We taking it up out of there. You would need, depending on if you were installing these springs, like, and not getting like coilovers or whatever. If you were installing these springs, you would need to get that decompress tool to install them. But I've seen when taking them out, you wouldn't need to use it really, because if you leave a shock in there, just lower it down, and you got everything, say you got everything disconnected, like the control arm, the upper control arm is disconnected, and the shock bolts is out, so it's ready to come down, and you lower it up off the jack. Say just ease it down, and then probably like whack the top of it a little bit with a hammer, and it will pop down, and it won't shoot out or anything, because I know that's the only thing I was really worried about, the spring shooting out or whatever. That pretty much be it right there. You'll have it all the way out of there. For up here, to get the shock out, you're gonna need I believe that's a 14 millimeter. And you're gonna need some vice grips. You're just gonna put the vice grips up there, put the wrench on there, lock it down for sure. Just get the turning, because if you don't, this is pretty much this is just gonna keep spinning, because that's the bar or whatever for the strut inside, whatever you call that. That's just gonna continue to spin if you don't do that. I tried it. I tried to use pliers. It didn't want to stay. I tried to use a wrench small enough to fit right there. Just stripped it. So pretty much you're gonna have to get the right tools. But I see a clean paint job. Yeah, boy, it is. I'm about to start painting cars now. Forget working on it, I paint. But yeah, they're pretty much really simple. When installing, I believe there's a little notch. You got to get the spring and this notch right there, I believe. When installing it, you got to compress it, get it right there, get it back up in there. But yeah, it's only thing is that's so difficult about this is every bolt is really like tough to get off, and it's really annoying sometimes, but I can't really complain too much because that's how this car stuff is. You can't get mad at it. Just gotta get through it and just work. It's gonna get you better, get you the experience that you need. But yeah man, that's pretty much all you really need to know on taking the stuff out. It's It's not too many. It's not much to it. You can honestly you can look at it and you can see what you need to take off. You just gonna be fighting cotter pins, like I said. And, like this one, you see, I couldn't get that cotter pin out. Ended up twisting it, so it's really stuck in there. So I would get the impact. If I was changing like the lower, like the ball joints or something, but just me, you might as well replace the whole control arm in my opinion. But I understand some people ain't got it like that, so. But I would stack and just change the whole control arm. You just go like Rock Auto or something, that'd be like $80. Shoot, that's a steal. Pretty much for this. Yeah, check that out real quick. But yeah, man, it's fairly simple. All depends on what you changing, really. You can look at it and see what needs to come off, honestly. You'll need pivot forks for the tie rod ends and the ball joints to separate them. Shoot, I got bored last night because I didn't have no vice grips to get that shock mount out to get my the new stuff on there. So I got to working on the engine bay, getting it all ready to come out. Yeah, I got the manifold on this side. Manifold bolts. If you changing those, what size are these? See, I'm just cold like that now, boy. It's a 9/16 for the exhaust manifold bolts. I sprayed it down with PU Blaster before, so they all came out, nothing broke. Torque converter bolts, if you want to know, those are 9/16 as well, I believe. And the bell housing bolts are the same. Yeah, got all the hoses disconnected. I gotta drain the fluid out the radiator. But yeah, the motor, other than like getting the cross member and the draw shaft and all that stuff out, the motor pretty much all disconnected stuff. It's a good thing I got a new steering column, but dang, there's a bolt back there that you can't get to because the steering column's in the way. So that's annoying. So I gotta take that off. There's a bolt down there. This pretty much pops off from right there. You just pull it or whatever. You can see it got like a little gap. You just pull it to the side or pull it up, and that little shield or whatever pops off. And then there's another bolt right there. I don't know what size it is yet because I ain't attempted. Cause you know I'm doing all of this Christmas Day. And then pretty sure you gotta take this off. And if you gotta take that off, it's 3 bolts right there. And then just pull it backwards and the steering column will come off. But yeah, this side pretty much I gotta bring the jack up over here, but this side will be done here fairly shortly. Probably Saturday or so, when I get some free time when I'm off of work, and I can actually come over here and work on this. Yeah, I'm gonna spray all this down with WD-40 before I leave for work in the morning. Yeah, man, my baby coming along. Really getting excited for the New Year's, cause I got a lot of events that I'm trying to go to. Like I'm trying to go to, one big goal is I really want to go to dang, hands got dirty already. I really want to go to LS Fest this year with all my bros, my bro Charles and my bro Ben. I really want to go with them this year. I think that's the biggest goal, because I went 2 years ago and it was crazy. I loved it. It was a different experience. Might act a fool, just a little bit. I'm going to Streetcar Takeover. That's in April. I think that's a goal for me that I'm going to set to really get my car finished. for, because I can talk to like the big companies or whatever, try to get some sponsorships and all of that, and hopefully grow my channel some more. Yeah, we got World of Wheels coming up in February. I don't think I'm gonna make that because, well, I possibly could. Let me not say that. Speak into existence. I will make that possible. I will make that. Let me say that now. It's a lot. It's like St. Louis got a lot of I forget what they called it, but last year they had somewhere like KC. Everybody in KC drove out there. This Velt Boy car show. It seemed like it was fun. I like to go out there. They got a track as well. That's what I'm trying to do with this. I'm trying to race it and everything. I don't really want to get into dunk racing and stuff like that. I just want like a street car, race car, a little bit, you know. Something just fun and fast for around my age group. Once I build my next motor or whatever, I'm like more than likely gonna be going all out. I already think I know what car it is, but I can't let y'all know, but just know it's a truck. I really want it. It's an old truck. Y'all can guess. But yeah, man. Next video, y'all gonna see me putting all the control arms and coilovers and everything on there. Might tackle the rear end sometime soon. I don't know. Probably get the motor pulled. Probably get the motor pulled first.